I know you would like to start making music right away. Reason is set up in a way that you can actually do that without really understanding the fundamentals. But if you do that, you will quickly struggle when you start to work on more elaborated projects. I propose that we first look at the foundations of the software. How is it organized? How does it work? This is the objective of this first section. This section is divided into 5 videos aimed at making you familiar with the software in order to prepare you for section 2. In section 2, we will produce a short music track together. The first video, this one, is theoretical. We will look at Reason from a higher perspective and learn how it is organized. This will allow us to understand the flow of sound within it. The second video will initiate our dive into the software and teach us how to navigate in Reason. In the third video, we will create a synthesizer, play it, and record our first notes in the sequencer. In the fourth video, we will learn how to apply effects to our sequence of notes. The last video contains an exercise. You will have to create from scratch a spacey piano. In this video, we will describe how the sound flows between the 3 main pillars of Reason. Reason is composed of a sequencer that contains the data, a rack that contains the instruments and devices, and a mixer which puts everything together. Let's first take an overview look at a typical setup. The computer where Reason is installed is represented by the grey box. Some MIDI controllers can be connected via USB ports. MIDI controllers send digital information to the computer via USB ports. For example, this information can be what note is pressed, how hard it is pressed, when it is pressed, and when it is released. This set of data is called a MIDI note. Other data, called control parameters, can also be sent via the controllers, like for example, the volume of a mixing channel, a specific synthesizer parameter, or the amount of a reverb on a piano, things like these, you know. This data can be recorded in Reason. From this data, Reason will generate sounds and send the sounds to the sound card. The sound card will then process and amplify this sound and send it to your loudspeaker system. You can also record sound in Reason. Plug your guitar in your sound card and start playing. The sound card will send the audio to Reason where it can be recorded. This works also with a microphone or any other instruments that can be plugged in. Note that there are also some microphones that can be plugged in directly via USB without passing through a dedicated sound card. Note also that the sound card might be integrated directly in your computer. But if you are serious about producing music, it is a good idea to have an exterior sound card. Let's go inside the computer and look at the architecture of Reason. Reason comes in 3 main windows: the sequencer, the rack, and the mixing table. I represented in this diagram also the modules with which Reason interacts, that is, the MIDI controllers and the sound card. The MIDI controller sends MIDI information to the sequencer. The sequencer canalizes this data towards the other modules of Reason and stores it if the user decides to record. The sequencer is a container of MIDI notes and control parameters of your music. As we have seen earlier, it can also record the audio data that comes from your sound card. So, the sequencer contains all the musical information of your music piece. Here is how the sequencer looks like. This is a MIDI clip. It contains notes represented by these little bars. The longer the bar, the longer the note. The higher the bar, the higher the pitch of the note. You can also record in the sequencer the variation of MIDI parameters. They are represented here by curvy lines. For example, here you can imagine that this line represents the aftertouch of the note played. In the sequencer, you also have audio clips. Audio clips can be recorded via the sound card or directly imported in Reason from a sound file. We will learn in this course how to record and edit the MIDI and audio data. We know now where is stored the music data. But actually, how is the sound generated by Reason? The sequencer sends this data to the rack. The rack window contains all the emulated hardware. In the rack, you will find synthesizers, samplers and effects, but also mixer channels, utilities, and the master channel, and even a representation of the audio interface. The data sent from the sequencer controls all this hardware. Examples: MIDI notes are sent to a synthesizer that will process this data and generate the corresponding sound. Control parameter data can also be sent to an effect and modify in real time the sound passing through the effect. Control parameter data can also be sent to a mixer channel, also known as a channel strip, to record its change in volume. This is very practical to automatize mixing or when designing sound effects.